They said Caitlin Clark was the issue, the overrated rookie, the media hype machine who couldn't deliver. But then she showed up and silenced every single critic in one night. No more rumors, no more blame, just pure domination. She didn't just play well, she orchestrated a demolition. From the moment she touched the court, it felt different. She was calling plays, slinging full-court dimes, drilling logo threes like they were free throws, and locking up defenders like her paycheck depended on it. And when it was over, when the Fever walked away with a 102-83 blowout win, she finally revealed the truth we've all suspected. The problem wasn't her, it was what was happening behind closed doors. A major shift inside that locker room changed everything, and she finally had the green light to be who she truly is. Caitlin freaking Clark, the one who isn't the problem, she's the only reason this team still has a heartbeat. And after hearing what she confessed post-game, it's clear the Indiana Fever didn't just win, they woke up. And Caitlin Clark? She just proved she's not the issues, he's the answer. Before we break down Caitlin's monster performance, we need to talk about what the Indiana Fever just pulled off, because this wasn't the same lost, broken team we've seen struggling all season. This was a rebirth. From the opening tip, the pace was wild, the chemistry was sharp, and the ball movement looked like something straight out of a highlight reel. For the first time in weeks, they looked like they belonged in the WNBA. They didn't hesitate, they didn't play scared, they attacked, they pressured, and they played like they had something to prove in. Maybe that's because they did. We've all been asking, where is the fight? Where is the fire? And last night, they answered with 102 points, 28 assists, and 20 fast break buckets. This wasn't just a win, it was a statement. Every player looked locked in, bought in, and finally free. Natasha Howard was sprinting like she had rockets in her shoes. Aaliyah Boston looked like the all-star we know she can be. Kelsey Mitchell was deadly from deep. And Sophie Cunningham? Back-to-back games proving she's more than just a role player. But at the center of it, all pushing the tempo, reading the defense, finding the open teammate, was Caitlin Clark running the show like a veteran floor general. This wasn't just a good night. This felt like the night the Indiana Fever finally woke up. And let's be real, the scoreboard didn't tell the full story, because what Caitlin Clark did out there went way beyond the numbers. From the moment she checked in, it was like she flipped a switch. She wasn't waiting for plays to be called, she was calling the shots. Running the offense like it was hers, waving teammates into position, controlling the tempo, reading every rotation, every mismatch, like she had the whole playbook memorized. And when it came to defense the part, they all doubted her on she turned it into a masterclass. 5 steals, 1 block, 3 of those steals straight off Paige Buchers, like it was personal. And maybe it was. She was diving for loose balls, intercepting passes, clogging up lanes, and turning defense into offense before anyone else could react. This wasn't luck. This wasn't hype. This was preparation, control, and a player finally unleashed. And the way she kept finding Kelsey Mitchell in transition or hitting Sophie Cunningham on the wing-it was like she had eyes in the back of her head. We've seen glimpses of Caitlin Clark's brilliance before, but this was her taking full control, and the difference was electric. Now here's where it gets even crazier, because Caitlin didn't even have her best shooting night. She went just 4 for 12 from the field. That's right, she wasn't even hot from deep. And still, she dropped 14 points, dished out 13 assists, and pulled 5 steals like it was nothing. That's the kind of impact most players dream of having on their best day, and she did it on an off night. That tells you everything you need to know, because when the shots aren't falling, real stars find other ways to dominate. And Caitlin, she just started carving up Dallas like a surgeon, drawing defenders, kicking out to shooters, pushing the pace, making everyone around her look better. Kelsey Mitchell finished with 20, Natasha Howard had 18, Aaliyah Boston added 17, and Sophie Cunningham gave them 13 in just 22 minutes. You don't get that kind of team performance without someone setting the tone. And Caitlin was that someone. She wasn't just scoring, she was elevating the entire roster. It was leadership, it was trust, and it was the kind of floor command that doesn't show up in flashy headlines but wins games. She turned chaos into chemistry and made sure everybody ate. But if there was one moment that defined the night, it wasn't a deep 3 or a flashy pass, it was what Caitlin said after the game. During the post-game presser, when asked about her defense, she didn't dodge the question. Didn't throw out a generic answer sheet, dropped a raw, unfiltered truth bomb. She said, "I can be a really good defender when I choose to, when I don't conserve energy." Wait, when I choose to? That's not just a quote, that's a confession. She basically told the world, yeah, I can lock down, but only when I'm allowed to be fully in it. And that changes everything. Because what she's really saying is, if you let her run the offense, if you let her be involved, if you let her lead, she's going to give you everything on both ends of the court. But if you force her into the corner, ice her out, make her a decoy, expect her to just survive in a broken system, of course, her energy drops. That's not attitude, that's reality. Caitlin Clark doesn't coast. She either takes over or fades out. And last night proved that when she's empowered, engaged, and trusted, the whole team rises with her. That wasn't just an admission, it was the blueprint. And that blueprint, it just exposed everything the Fever were doing wrong until now. Because all season long, we've watched them misuse Caitlin Clark, treating her like a spot-up shooter, forcing her to play off-ball, dragging her into someone else's broken scheme. And the result? A team that looked disjointed, slow, lifeless. But the second they gave her the reins, let her dictate the pace, let her drive the offense, let her lead like the generational talent she is, everything changed. The ball started moving, the tempo skyrocketed, and suddenly, Indiana looked like they were having fun again. You could see it in every possession, more hesitation, no more walking on eggshells, just confidence and freedom. Caitlin Clark wasn't trying to fit in anymore, was commanding the game. And her teammates, they fed off it, they trusted her, and that trust turned into flow, which turned into buckets, which turned into a blowout. This wasn't just a game, it was a revelation. And now that the formula's out, you better believe every team in the league is watching closely, because if the Fever keep letting Caitlin cook, this team might just go from overlooked to unstoppable. But while Caitlin was lighting up the court, there was something darker going on, something the league can't keep ignoring. She's not just getting defended, she's getting targeted. Jersey pulls, elbow hooks, hip checks, body slams every game. It's the same story. And the refs? Silent. Like they left their whistles in the locker room. Caitlin Clark is being manhandled out there, and somehow, it's still being brushed off as physical play. No, this isn't just physical, it's harassment. And the wild part, everyone sees it. Even Rebecca Lobo called it out on live television. She literally paused the game footage and pointed out every illegal move in real time. A grab here, a hold there, a bump, a hook, and still no call. What are we doing here? How is the face of the league getting mauled every possession without protection? And the craziest part, Caitlin doesn't whine, doesn't beg for fouls, she just keeps her head down and dominates anyway. But let's be clear, it's not toughness to ignore this. It's negligence. And if the league wants to protect its stars and grow its audience, they better fix this before someone gets seriously hurt. Because right now, it's starting to look personal. And even with all that chaos, all that contact, all that nonsense, Caitlin Clark is still making history. We're not even halfway through the season, and she's already racked up over 200 points and 100 assists. Let that sink in. No rookie has ever done it faster in WNBA history. She's also now ranked 5th all-time in most double-doubles with points and assists as a rookie, with no system built around her, no veteran protection, and constant pressure on her shoulders. And still, she's delivering numbers that seasoned pros struggle to touch. You want to talk generational? You want to talk game changer? This is it. Because Caitlin isn't just showing up, she's rewriting the standard in real time. And what's even crazier, she's doing it in a role that's constantly shifting, constantly challenged, constantly questioned. Most rookies would have crumbled by now, but she's not just surviving, she's building something. Game by game, pass by pass, steal by steal. She's laying the foundation for what this Fever team could be if they just stop getting in her way and finally build around her. Because if this is what she's doing under pressure, imagine what she'll do when they give her everything. And then came the moment that sealed it all. Caitlin Clark sitting at the post-game podium, looking calm but fierce, and she said it again, plain and honest, I can be a really good defender when I choose to. And that wasn't arrogance, that was awareness, that was accountability. That was a star finally admitting what everyone's been afraid to say, her effort is tied to her involvement. When you freeze her out, You get a version of Caitlin that's disconnected. But when you let her lead, touch the ball, run the system, she transforms. She doesn't just score, she ignites. And last night proved it. Let her feel the rhythm, give her the ball, trust her instincts, and the defense follows. The hustle follows, the fire follows. That's not an attitude issue, it's a leadership revelation. And this time, it wasn't a coach saying it, it wasn't a teammate, it was her. She owned it, she laid it all out, no excuses, no filters, just truth. So now the question isn't whether Caitlin Clark is the problem, it's whether the Fever are finally ready to let her be the solution. Because last night, that wasn't just a comeback, that was a warning. Caitlin Clark is here, she's locked in. And if you still think she's overrated, you haven't been watching, that's not hype, that's not luck, that's the Clark effect.